with the Prophet ﷺ, Salat al-Dhuhr in Medina 4. Then when we reached Dhul Hulayfa, I prayed with the Prophet ﷺ the Asr 2. So you see here, because Nabi ﷺ, and this is a good answer for that question. So when Nabi ﷺ was in Medina, and that hadith of Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, he prayed Dhuhr in Medina and it was full 4 rak'ah. Then when they reached Dhul Hulayfa, which is not too far from Medina, the Prophet ﷺ prayed with the Sahaba who were with him 2 rak'ah. And when he started the Salah in Dhul Hulayfa, he didn't say to them, remember brothers, that we are praying now Salat al-Asr Qasr. They enter the Salah to pray the Asr. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam didn't inform them. So this is what he's saying here. When he went from Medina, he led the people in the Asr Salah at Dhul Hulayfa and did not order them to make the intention to shorten the Salah. Concerning offering the 2 combined prayers right after each other, Ibn Taymiyyah writes, the correct opinion is that it is not a necessary condition to do so under any circumstances, neither during the time of the first Salah nor during the time of the later Salah. So, if I am combining, do I have to do them straight away? Or I can, for example, pray Dhuhr, have some food, and after that I can pray Asr? Ibn Taymiyyah is saying here, the correct opinion that it is not a necessary condition to do so under any circumstances, neither during the time of the first Salah nor during the time of the later Salah. There is no such limit in the Sharia, and doing so would defeat the purpose of the position, i.e. permission to combine the 2 Salah. You'll find the practice of most of the people that we have to do them straight away. So finished, start. Yes, there is no doubt that this is what the Prophet ﷺ did. When he did Dhuhr and Asr, Maghrib and Isha, he did them in the time of Dhuhr, time of Asr sometimes, time of Maghrib or time of Isha sometimes. But if someone prayed Dhuhr, and after the Salah something happened and he had to do it, and even he doesn't have the niyyah at that time, doesn't have the niyyah to move. Someone, he was here, then he received the call that you have to move now, and he calculated time. Now I don't think I can catch Asr in the other place. I might arrive Maghrib time. So the best thing to do now to combine. Now because he prayed the Dhuhr without, as we said, Niyyat al-Jama', and there is now 5-10 minutes, half an hour, can he combine? Can he pray Asr now? Yes, he can, because this is rukhsa now. Now the thing is, what you find in many of the madhabs these times, they talk about the rukhsa, and after that they will make many restrictions on it. Then it is not rukhsa anymore. I'll give you an example. You remember when we spoke about al-masah ala al-khuffayn? Can you remember masah al-khuffayn, to wipe on the socks? Now, some of you were here, some not. Anyway, so the rukhsa is to wipe on the socks or the shoes. Now, the scholars or the madhab after that start putting conditions. Conditions on the socks on themselves. Their thickness. How you can check the thickness. They said you check the thickness that you walk and for about 100 meters, and if it is wet or not wet, so it should not pass any water. And even some of them, they say no, socks not allowed at all. You have to wear these leather thing. Many conditions. So what's the point? If for wiping on my socks, I have to go and buy a pair of these leather ones and put them and keep them all the time. So where is the rukhsah now? Leave it and wash your feet, and that's it. Because even these days, most of the masjid, mashallah, they have hot water. So easy, simple, make it easy then. But the rukhsah is there. And the name of it is rukhsah. Rukhsah means permission to do something, to make the life easy. Now, instead of making the life easy, they're making the life difficult. The same with the jama' here. So they say, yes, there's jama', but only if you're traveling and if you are moving. Okay, so if I am sitting, the khalas finished, the rukhsah finished now, and even if there is, if even some of them they say you don't speak. If you speak, no, you cannot combine that. Subhanallah. And really here we find the statement of Ibn Taymiyyah clarifies this issue. So this is why I'd like to read it again. So, and you can convey this message to the people who are confused about this issue. Ibn Taymiyyah writes, the correct opinion is that it is not a necessary condition to do so under any circumstances, neither during the time of the first salah nor during the time of the later salah. So this is concerning offering the two combined prayers right after each other. So he said the correct opinion is that it is not necessary condition to do so under any circumstances, neither during the time of the first salah nor during the time of the later salah. There is no such limit in the Sharia, and doing so would defeat the purpose of the concession. Now remember, brothers, all these things, when we say combining is permitted, it is not that Ahmed said, or Khalil said, or Abdul Rahman said, or Shafi'i said. No. Even all these, and remember when we started talking, we mentioned what Shafi'i said, what Malik said, and obviously Imam Ahmed, he mentioned the hadith in his Musnad, and Imam Ahmed, if he mentioned the hadith in his Musnad, he will follow it. This is obvious. Now, so we are not saying the combination according to views of people, or views of Imam, or views of scholars. All these scholars, when they said the combination, the jama' is jaiz, they build this argument or this opinion according to authentic hadith which is mentioned. And we find here three Imams, Malik, Ahmad, Shafi'i, all of them, these three mentioned these hadiths in their books. And the hadith that mentioned in Sahih Muslim. Now, to say that it must be in the same time, without any gap between them, to say this, we need hadith, not understanding. If there is hadith, we say على العين والرأس, on our head and on our, this is what we say in Arabic, على العين والرأس, on our heads and on our eyes. If there is no hadith, so we say this means that it is mubah, it is permitted. So there is no such limit in the Sharia, and doing so would defeat the purpose of the concession, i.e. permission to combine the two salah. Imam Shafi'i says it is quite permissible for a person to pray the Maghrib in his house with the intention of combining the prayers and then go to the masjid to pray the Isha. A similar statement has been related from Ahmed. So we'll find again here there is two imams. They are saying you don't have to pray them in the same time when you are like to combine. So we understand now that you can combine in Muzdalifah and Mina, Muzdalifah and Arafah. You can combine if you are traveling. Now comes here, can we combine if we are resident? Yes. And there is different reasons for that. And the first reason, if there is rain or something similar to the rain. If there is rain or mud or ice or storm, all these, what they call it these days, natural things, which is you have no hand, you no control over it. If this is happening and might prevent you from going to the masjid, or it becomes hard for you to go to the masjid, or it's dangerous on you to go to the masjid, then it is permitted. But it is the general rule permitted to do it taqdeem. What do you mean by taqdeem? So you make jama' for Dhuhr Asr at Dhuhr time, Maghrib and Isha at Maghrib time. And when we look at in this regard, we find, because remember what we said about the Prophet ﷺ. If he is leaving after Dhuhr, he will pray Dhuhr. Now, if you are in the masjid, so if it is Dhuhr time, you have to come to the masjid to pray Dhuhr time. Okay? Now, it is raining outside, heavy rain, torrential rain. Okay? And we feel that it might be floods after a while. Like this happened last week. So I thought, if the rain still comes in the same way, it will be floods. And this happened in some areas. Now we are in the masjid, we prayed, and it is very heavy rain outside. In this situation, we can pray Dhuhr and Asr. But we don't, we are at home, and it is raining there, at Dhuhr time, then send messages, brothers, because it's raining, we are not going to the masjid, come at Asr time, we pray it at Asr time. No. Because now we are missing the first salah. Remember this. And it's not allowed. We cannot, if we are resident, we cannot delay. When we are resident, we cannot delay the salah. We can bring it forward. We cannot delay it. This is very important. This is different from the traveler. The resident can forward taqdeem, cannot make ta'khir. The traveler can make taqdeem, forwarded or delayed. But the resident, you must, the only permissible thing is to bring it forward, to pray it earlier. So you can pray Asr at Dhuhr time, you can pray Isha at Maghrib time. Remember this. So let us see or listen to the proof for all what I said. Al-Athram records in his Sunnah that Abu Salama ibn Abdul Rahman said, it is a sunnah to combine the Maghrib and Isha prayers when it is raining. Al-Bukhari records that the Prophet ﷺ combined the Maghrib and Isha prayers on a rainy night. And this one, brothers and sisters, especially the hadith in Bukhari, is a proof, clear proof, that when there is a reason When there is a reason, you can combine. Now here the hadith mentioned one reason, which is the rain. And we understand that the rain, as I mentioned earlier, is a natural thing, something it's out of your control. Now in this situation, you can combine. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he did this. And this is why when we read later, we'll find some imams they said only Maghrib and Isha is permissible. Why Maghrib and Isha? Because it is dark, it is cold, so you can put many things together. So Maghrib and Isha, it is dark, it is cold, you cannot see, and at that time there is no lights in the streets, no cars. So all these things were there. So it is so difficult in Maghrib and Isha. It is not the same difficult during the daytime. Yes, bro.
Sheikh, I was just going to ask, so you said like, if you're a resident of a town, you like to live there, you could combine your Zohar and Asr, yeah? So you can't delay it. That's what you said, yeah?
Yes.
And let's say, by the time you pay Maghrib, by the time you get home, like you walk home, there's going to be time for Isha in about 10-15 minutes time. So can you, after you pay Maghrib, can you pay your Isha and go home afterwards, rather than going home and coming back?
If you are a resident?
Yeah, if you're a resident, yeah.
And what's the excuse here?
The excuse basically, you live quite far away from the masjid, so by the time you go home, by the time you come home, you have to come back again after 10 minutes, so...
No, there's not
There's no excuse, yeah?
No, there's not an excuse.
Okay.
Because, you know, in this case, if there's only 10 minutes, so stay here, pray and go. Okay. Now, the imams or the madhahib on this situation, they have different opinions. And remember, they have different opinions because the hadith, or the two hadith mentioned. Hadith al-Athram, which is in the Sunan, that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam combined Maghrib and Isha. And the same mentioned in al-Bukhari, that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam combined Maghrib and Isha. Now, some imams, they said, okay, we stick to this, Maghrib and Isha only. And some imams, they said, we can do Dhuhr and Asr and Maghrib and Isha. So now we'll hear what the four imams said about this. The Shafi'i school says that it is allowed for the resident to combine the Dhuhr and Asr or the Maghrib and Isha praying each pair in the time of the earlier Salah only, given that it is raining when one begins the earlier prayer and it is still raining by the time one begins the second prayer. So listen carefully here, brothers and sisters, to what Shafi'i school says. They are saying, we started Dhuhr, and when we started Dhuhr, it was raining. And we noticed that the rain is heavy, and we'd like to start Asr now, and still raining. Still raining. Now in this situation, there is no harm in praying Dhuhr and Asr. So when we started Dhuhr, it was raining. When we started the Asr, again it was raining. According to this school, if we prayed Dhuhr, it was raining, and after we finished Dhuhr, look, like the weather in this country, it is sunny, finished. No, there is no combination. So the condition for the Jama' here is that when you start the first one is raining, when you start the second one is raining. Is that clear? الآن الإمام مالك. According to the Maliki school, it is is allowed to combine the Maghrib and Isha in the mosque at the time of the Maghrib due to rain or expected rain. If there is mud and darkness along the way, or if there is a lot of mud and it prevents the people from wearing their shoes. Nevertheless, he dislikes that the Dhuhr and Asr should be combined due to rain. So, Madhab al-Maliki, they are saying that Dhuhr and Asr disliked to combine between them. And again, why they are saying this? Because the hadith didn't say Dhuhr and Asr. They said only Maghrib and Isha. And here they said, different from what Sheikh said. They're saying, if it is raining, or it might rain. So, because we know now, from the weather, sometimes from the weather forecast, that it is raining or it's going to rain. And when you see clouds and you can recognize, the weather nearly. I know it is not, you cannot predict anything here, but the thing is, if it is raining or might rain, expecting to rain, then you can do Maghrib and Isha in the time of Maghrib. Not only this, they said if there is mud. Obviously, maybe this condition is not available here in this country because there are streets, mashallah, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen, and we pay tax for that. And but if this, we can say this, if it is snow and or if it is frosty, black ice and all these things. So if there is all these conditions which is out of our control, then it will be permitted, inshallah. Now, the Hanbali school. According to the Hanbali school, it is only allowed to combine the Maghrib and Isha in the time of the former or the later due to snow, ice, mud, severe cold or rain which soaks the clothes. This concession is allowed only for one who prays with a congregation in the mosque and who comes from a distance over which he could be harmed by the rain. So, al-Madhab al-Hanbali, they make it more flexible. What they said, it is allowed to combine Maghrib and Isha in the time of the former or the later. So, you remember what I said? That you should do it on the early one, and this is the true one, because you cannot miss the first salah and delay it if there is doesn't matter what's the reason. So you have, when it is Maghrib time in the masjid, you have to start the salah. Now the second one, if you prayed it, that's it. But if there is people comes, if you prayed here Maghrib and Isha together, we combine them, then there is people came to pray Isha, no one will stop them. They can pray Isha in the masjid. Doesn't matter we prayed or not here. But the people who were here at Maghrib and they took the rukhsah, that's it. They don't have to come back to pray Isha at that time. And here they said also due to snow, ice, mud, severe cold or rain which soaks the clothes. If the rain, it is, the drizzle, so just, if it's drizzle only, just a little bit, it doesn't make your clothes wet, you don't have to use the umbrella or rainy coat or something, then this is not the rain that makes it permissible. The rain which makes you wet. If you come to the masjid here, maybe you are shivering and you have to go to one of the radiators to dry yourself. This is the condition. So this concession is allowed only for one who prays with a congregation in the mosque and who comes from a distance over which could be harmed by the rain. And the other condition they put, and this condition is for all the schools, that this is only for the masjid. If you are praying at home, no combination. You cannot, because you are there, you are sitting at home. So what's the combination is because it is hard to go to the masjid. But if you are at home, or if you are living in the masjid, or if you are just one step to the masjid, the reason, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would like to make the things easy to his servants. So this concession is allowed only for one who prays with a congregation in the masjid and who comes from a distance over which he could be harmed by the rain. However, for one who prays in a congregation in his house or whose path to the mosque is covered or protected, or for one whose house is right next to the masjid, it is not allowed to combine the salah. Now the last bit really needs to be discussed, because if someone comes to the masjid and pray, and the congregation here in the masjid they pray jama'ah, then he pray jama'ah with them. Doesn't matter if he is next door or after, because the main thing, he'd like to pray the jama'ah. And we have, especially here in this country, in some masajid, if the people who come to the masjid limited, they know each other. So it's not like big masjid in Medina or Mecca and these things. So the people who are coming for Maghrib, they are not the same who are coming for Isha, or they have no idea what's going on. Here, we know who's coming for Fajr, who's coming for Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and even the people, it is like they have a record who's coming. So if there is one missing, they know that why he's missing. So in these circumstances, even if the person he's just next door to the masjid, but the people they are praying the Jama'ah, so in this case he can pray with them. He don't have, they say no, because I live just 2 meters or 5 meters from the masjid, then I don't want to pray the Jama'ah, I have to come back. It doesn't apply here. Now, so we understand now, we can make Jama'ah in Muzdalifah and Arafat. We can make Jama'ah if it is traveling, if it is raining. Now, if someone, he is ill, or have another excuse. Ahmed Al-Qadi Hussein Al-Khattabi and Al-Mutawalli of the Shafi'i school are of the opinion that it is allowed to combine 2 prayers either during the time of the earlier or later salah due to illness, as it is a greater hardship than rain. So we understand that the illness sometimes is greater than the rain, because when you are in a hospital and you are in pain, this is something more than if it is a rainy day or ice or the other things. And the Imam Al-Nawawi, and remember the Imam Al-Nawawi, he is Shafi'i, but he's open-minded in all the madhabs. This is a strong opinion based on sound evidence. In Al-Mughni, Hanbali, it is stated the illness which permits one to combine the prayers is the one which would otherwise cause hardship and more weakness if he prayed each salah separately. When someone is ill in the hospital or at home, and the salah in itself hard because his movements are, and he or she in pain. Now these type of people, it is permitted for them to combine their salah. Even to some of them, it is even also to shorten the salah. Not only to combine the salah, to shorten the salah because of their illness. The Hanbali school is the most accommodating, as it allows one to combine the prayers at the time of the early or later salah for one who's ill, as well as for the woman who is breastfeeding and will face hardship in cleaning her dress for every salah, for the man who's plagued by a prolonged flow of blood, for the poor person who cannot control his urine, and for one who cannot purify himself or herself, and for the one who fears for his life, property or family. Now here, Sheikh Sayyid Sabiq Rahmatullah alayhi, he's talking about the Madhab al-Hanbali, and he said the Madhab al-Hanbali accommodating, these regarding combination accommodates more than the other Madhab. And he mentioned here a different situation. So, a mother who's breastfeeding and she's fine, it is difficult for her, to keep changing, or her child keeps crying all the time. Obviously, if that child keeps crying all the time, it will be difficult for her to concentrate in her salah. So here they said she can combine. But here, and also for the person who has problem with urinating, that you remember when we spoke about this, we mentioned the tahara. If you have problem of controlling urinating, and if there is a woman, she has istihada, that prolonged period. Now here, there is two types of jama'. There you can do dhuhr with asr, asr with dhuhr, or you can do what they call it jama' al-suwari. Jama' al-suwari, semi-combination. What's the semi-combination? Is to delay dhuhr just before asr. So, I'll give you example. Say, these days, Asr starts at 5. So, how you can do Jama' al-Suwari, the semi-combination, if you have one of these problems. A woman, she's breastfeeding and her child keeps crying all the time. A woman, she has problem with her period and there is still blood coming after her normal time. A person, he has a problem with passing the wind, that they call it infilat, that there is gases all the time in his, and he cannot control that. He problem has with the urine in itself. So these type of people, as I said, they can do the normal jama' or can they do jama' al-suwari. So going back to the example, Asr starts at 5. So what these person will do, they will make wudu 10 minutes, for example, 10-15 minutes before Asr. And they pray dhuhr. Okay? Then they will do another wudu for Asr, because this is the condition for when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam spoke to that woman when she explained to him that the blood still coming. And pray Asr at the beginning of the time. So pray Dhuhr 10 minutes before Asr and pray Asr at the beginning of the time, at 5 exactly. This is the semi-combination. They call it al-Jama' al-Suwari. And if you don't want to do the Jama' al-Suwari, you can do the full Jama'. They can pray Dhuhr and Asr in the same, in the Asr in the time of Dhuhr, or Dhuhr in the time of Asr. Imam Ibn Taymiyyah rahmatullah said, among the opinions the most accommodating on this question, combination for excuses, is that of the Hanbali school, which allows one to combine the prayers if he is busy, since An-Nisa'i has related something to that effect from the Prophet ﷺ. And they also say that the cook and the baker and so forth may also combine their prayers if they fear their wealth, i.e. their investment or what they are working will otherwise be ruined. So here they gave, at that time, these type of people, the baker and the cook, maybe sometimes it is the peak time, and if they stop, this will affect their business. So they said this is permissible for them. Now, combining two prayers due to some pressing need. Imam Nawawi writes in his commentary on Sahih Muslim, the majority of the scholars are of the opinion that it is allowed for the resident to combine the prayers due to some pressing need. This is the statement of Ibn Sirin and Ashab from the companions of Malik, and Al-Khattabi records from Al-Qifal and Al-Shafi'i, and from Abu Ishaq Al-Marzawi, and from a number of Ashab al-Hadith, and is the conclusion of Ibn al-Mundhir. It is supported by the statement of Ibn Abbas, and listen to this statement, it's very, very important. The Prophet ﷺ combined